Welcome to the lore tours of Intergalactic Aerospace Expo 2951. This is where I walk the floor of IAE and tell you all about the history of the ships on display and their creators. Now join me on the floor for your tour. Welcome to Drake Day here on the floor. My name is Paul, Berserker01, Batman Shelley, your guide here for the floor tours. Hopefully you're enjoying this. As a reminder, like this video if you enjoy it and you've been enjoying these series. Make sure to subscribe, hit the little bell icon, say all notifications, and send notifications if you want to know exactly when these come up every single day of IAE. Well, let's talk about who Drake is. Drake Interplanetary was founded in 2845, specifically after having the UAE created a contest. They wanted to create a contest to build a frontier fighter, something that could work as a multi-purpose vehicle that was designed to be easy to refix on the frontiers of UAE space. So a group of people headed by a woman by the name of Jan Dredge came together in Magnus and developed their first ship for this competition, calling it the Cutlass. But the Cutlass didn't win. But the developers of the Cutlass felt that they could still sell it. They could make money off of it. So Jan Dredge, along with 7 of the other designers, got together and became Drake Interplanetary, with Jan Dredge as CEO. Now, the name actually just is because it sounds smooth, and hoping that they'd make their ships more appealing. And of course, as always, the company is designed to make money first and foremost. It's not really designed to make good-looking craft or to make well-designed craft. It's designed to make money. So most of their ships are designed to be efficient, but more for the money reasons. Now, the Cutlass became the iconic ship of Drake, and because of the Cutlass, the whole company started to expand and grow. It's only about 100 years old, which is fairly young in the Star Citizen universe, but it's managed to take one of the top slots. It's one of the top 5 manufacturers of spaceships in the UAE, Cutlass being ubiquitous. It's everywhere in the Star Citizen universe. So without further ado, let's talk a little bit about the ships of Drake, starting with the Buccaneer. So the Buccaneer was first produced in see when it was actually introduced. Uh, 2947. And it was designed with a lot of the technologies that were pioneered by the Cutlass to be a space fighter. It is, as it says, Buck is a scrapper designed to maneuver, fight above his race class. And the key about the Buccaneer that makes it kind of stand out against its competition is this ship does not require a lot of maintenance. This ship is fairly easy to maintain and fairly easy to operate. So whereas a Hornet is a very complicated vessel and a Gladius is a very complicated ship, and an Arrow is equally as complicated and requires a lot of professional maintenance, you could fix this thing with some, duct tape, vodka, and some good old a wrench, a spanner, and some good old elbow grease. It's really easy to fix and maintain the Buccaneer, which is made it very popular amongst frontier militia and also pirates, like many ships. But it's designed to be a light fighter that can intercept a lot of other vessels. Now, the thing about Drake's ships is that they're all designed to be to kind of work in synergy with one another. So the thing about the Buccaneer that makes it that synergizes best is that it has near the same top speed as the Herald, making the Buccaneer being a very good ship for escorting Heralds on their journeys. Speaking of Heralds, the Drake Interplanetary Herald. This is a info running ship. Its job is to run information from point A to point B. Now, info running is an important understanding. I think we talked a little bit about this when we talked about the Star Runner. The purpose of info running is in the Star Citizen universe, there is no faster than light travel. So you have to relay messages from relay station to relay station. And once a relay station reaches once the message reaches a relay station by a jump point, you have to load the message into a probe and then send that probe through the jump point, then, transmit it to the next relay station and continue. And the process of getting the message to a relay station, uploading it into a probe can take some time because, I'm sure they don't send probes out just for one small message. They probably have to load up the probe's database as much as possible and then send it out. So as a result, sending messages can have some lag time and be very vulnerable to interception or other issues. So if you want to send any kind of, say, financial information or top like private confidential information, you want a info runner to run it for you. And this is probably the most affordable info runner on the market today. It's basically a cockpit with a bed, some giant server banks, and an engine, a Cutlass engine slapped on the back. Just like all Drake ships, it's very much what can we use from the Cutlass to make this ship design? And it also can serve as a broadcast ship and an interception ship, but it is mostly used as a info runner and often paired with the Buccaneer because of its Buccaneer speed. This thing is also the fastest ship in a straight line that exists today. It just goes and goes in a straight line forever. It's insane, like SCM speed. All right. Speaking of those two, let's go on to talking about the Cutlass. So the Cutlass Black was first developed in 2845. It was developed for the competition that they were trying to win with the UEE and didn't win. So this is the Cutlass Black right here. The thing about the Cutlass Black is that it is incredibly easy to maintain. It has a lot of versatility. It's a freight cargo ship. It can haul cargo, but it can also fight. It also has a bed for long range, if you need to stick around for a long time. And it has, a turret. So this ship is designed as a kind of a multi-purpose vessel for mining or for transportation, but can also transport things like the rock. It actually can work fairly well with. Or a cyclone. So it can be used for exploration purposes. It can be used for mining purposes. It can be used for a lot of different purposes. These side doors are actually fairly useful in EVA because if you're kind of alongside another vessel and you need to kind of get out and get into that other vessel or, transfer goods from that vessel to your vessel, this works fairly well as a means to get people and goods in and out. As a result, it was marketed heavily as a frontier fighter, but also as a search and rescue craft. So, unfortunately, though, and it was very popular amongst the frontier worlds. People bought frontier militias and people just bought these ships all the time because though they were a little bit more expensive than a typical Aurora, they could do a lot more than Aurora, and they're pretty easy to maintain. They didn't require dedicated facilities and specified tools to repair a lot of this ship. And you even see here in the front, these are actually tractor beams right here. We see where this is supposedly a tractor beam. Axis module tractor. So this itself is also supposed to be a tractor beam, which we don't quite see yet, but I think it'll eventually be slapped here on the sides of this. So these tractor beams, oh no, it's right here. This is a tractor beam. So these tractor beams are used to kind of slow down or steady wrecks or derelicts. But the same things that made it very popular amongst the frontier militias and frontier peoples made it very popular with pirates. And Drake, as always, from its inception, is more about making money than spaceships. Spaceships are just a means to make money. So they didn't really care who they sold to. But they did end up making two variants. You have the police variant, This is the Cutlass Blue. It's faster than the Cutlass Black, and also has inside of it, it replaces its cargo bay with a cryogenic storage facility to store prisoners for long-range transportation. It also has a little bit more guns, and it also has a quantum entanglement device, QED, I think. It has its own bubble that can prevent people from running from you. So it's very popular with frontier militia, as well as even like core world security and not advocacy. They don't buy from that, but police. Like planetary police forces might use some of these effectively in countering crime. And then we have the Cutlass Red. This is an ambulance version. It essentially swaps out the top turret with more of a scanner suite and a search and rescue kind of like spotlight, and 2 tier 3 medical beds. So it works fairly well as to save lives. These were obviously released shortly after the Cutlass Black, because the Cutlass Black got a lot of reputation as being a pirate ship very early on. So they released these other variants and be like, hey, no, we do other things. It's not just frontier militia. We do these other things too. See, we even made a cop car, right? There's a cop car for you, and an ambulance. You'll be mad at us. But shortly after the creation of the Caterpillar, or the Cutlass, we have the creation of the Caterpillar in 2871. So this is taking everything they learned from the Cutlass and amping it up. It's a reliable, cost-effective multi-role vessel, capable of being outfitting from everything from mercantile operations to combat support. It is the alternative to the whole series of ships. It has, how much cargo does this thing have? $576 SCU, which is an insane amount of cargo for its size, if you just do these cargo modules. So the thing that made this ship fairly popular is that twofold. One, all of these modules are replaceable. You don't have to have these cargo modules. There are other modules which we don't quite know which ones exist yet, but they are available. They will be available in the future. So you don't have to have just a cargo module. You can swap those cargo modules out for any number of other modules, which can make the Caterpillar much more focused on a specific job. So you have a little bit more flexibility with the Caterpillar. On top of this, this is almost a mobile space station, because if you look over here, this connection right here, see right there, keep clear. You got some, this connection bay. This is a separate ship. You can actually see the little docking collar right there, I think right there. This is a separate ship. This is its command pod, where it operates as its own vessel. But if you see here, it says keep clear. I think this is a tractor beam, but it also could be the landing gear for this ship. And see in the back, we have some landing gear spots here as well. Keep clear. Yeah, I think these are our landing gear. So this ship is designed as its own snubcraft that has its own quantum drive on it, possibly even its own jump drive on it, and it has its own beds in it as well. So this ship has a smaller ship attached to it, which is capable of doing everything it can do on its own. A lot of the design characteristics of the Herald actually came from this command module right here. It also has some fully articulated engines, large weapons on it, and its own engineering and living space in the back as well, with its 2 dedicated tractor beams. So this is the tractor beam area right up here to the left, and there's also one underneath the main command module as well. So you could, in theory, detach the command module and fly off, leaving this in space for another command module to come back and attach itself to the Caterpillar and fly it away if you wanted to. In fact, there was a famous heist where called the Kessling Heist, where a Caterpillar rammed into an Elysium transport and used these front stabilizers right here as hooks. These are supposed to be like sensors. They use them as hooks to hook into the side of a transport. A bunch of people popped out, shot the crew up or reduced the crew, grabbed the material, and then hopped back into the ship. And because the ship was tangled up into the transport, the Elysium transport, neither ship could leave. But the boarders got into their little command craft and quantumed away. So it's probably its most famous use. Though, yeah. So, and it's appropriate that this ship is here because it was first introduced in 2871 at IAE 2871. So this ship has got a long legacy of being at Intergalactic Aerospace Expo for, close to 70 years now. So, all right, that's all of the ships. Let's go down and talk a little bit about their ground transportation, the Drake Dragonfly, as well as some ships which are soon to come. Here we are with the Drake Dragonfly. So this was first built in 2847, I want to say, or 2882. It was developed before the or after the Caterpillar, and designed specifically to work with the Caterpillar. Remember that synergy I was talking about? So this was designed to work with the Caterpillar as kind of a snub craft for the Caterpillar. But they also work as hover bikes on planets as well. So it also works well with the Cutlass itself, designed to work inside the Cutlass, and was made to be sort of a utility craft to be able to help other people. Now, the other, do other things. So if you landed your Cutlass and needed to get around in more covert style, you could hop into this. If you needed to get away from, say you needed to investigate a dangerous asteroid belt that your Caterpillar couldn't get into, you hop into your Dragonfly and you could fly out towards that asteroid belt. There's no quantum drive here. It's just a regular engine, but it also has a back seat with cargo in the back, or you can put another person in the back as well, and a main pilot. It has some guns and has some hover technology in the front and the back. So Drake's hover technology, these Dragonflies, have been extensively used as essentially utility vehicles to get from point A to point B on the frontier. Just like every other Drake ships, they are designed to be rugged, designed to be easy to replace and fix without specialized equipment. And they do a fairly good job at what they're designed to do, just going from point A to point B with some light cargo abilities. So, and because they're super cheap to manufacture, they're super cheap to buy. All right, with that ground vehicles being done, let's talk a little bit about the future of Drake. Here we have the Drake Kraken. So a little history here. Jan Dredge was removed from her position as CEO in 2947 because a sting operation by the Terra Gazette essentially got her to admit that they don't care who buys their ship, they just cares about the money. And this caused a massive uproar because they were doing an expose about how the Cutlass was used in so many attacks on civilian transports across the Empire. So Drake was kind of already bad. It's a bad image, but it was kind of in the toilet by that time. So Jan Dredge stepped down, and her son John took over as temporary CEO until 2948, when a new CEO was announced named Andon Arden. Now, Andon Arden came in. He is known as a fixer. He comes into companies that are having problems and tries to improve their image and improve their overall functionality. So if they're like inefficient or they have bad PR, he goes in and fixes the PR, or he kind of improves their efficiency. So he was hired by the board, possibly against the Dredge's wishes, to sort of improve their stature. And the first thing he did was greenlight the Kraken program. So the Kraken is a light carrier designed as a capital class civilian ship. The UAE does not use Krakens, but you can already see, again, reutilization of technology. This bottom looks very similar to the Caterpillar. We see big Caterpillar-like engines on the back for transportation. We see some of the wings are similar to the wings on a Cutlass. So we see a similar design to much as what we're used to from Drake here with the Kraken. So the Krakens are still being manufactured, but they're not quite in the verse. I don't think they're even fully in the verse in right now. Even like they're not fully introduced into the UAE. They're still being produced because there's such a need for them, and because Drake didn't really have the facilities to build these in large quantities at the moment of their release, which was only a couple of years ago. So that's the beginning of the redemption story. Then here we've got the Drake Vulture. Now the Vulture also was built in 2938. It was built to deal with salvage. It is a ship that is designed to allow for a single person to run a salvage operation, which before would require multiple people with hand salvagers using pyro multi-tools, or the costly, expensive to maintain, and very large reclaimer. Now you have they had a smaller ship that can be used by one person to utilize salvage operations as need be. Again, built with the same kind of technology as the Cutlass and everything else. Rugged, easy to maintain, so you don't need specialized equipment to maintain it, and easy to and like can go very far. It's a fairly rugged craft designed for salvage operations. And lastly, one of my favorite ships, the Drake Corsair. Now, the Corsair is Drake's answer to the Carrack, to the Aquila, and other kind of exploration vessels. Now, we don't know exactly when the Corsair was built, though I wouldn't be surprised if this was another and Arden project, because explorers tend to be a little bit more difficult to justify as weapons ships or as ships designed for combat as they are as like the Cutlass is. And everyone likes explorers. So the Corsair is designed as an exploration vessel, but like all Drake ships, it has similar ruggedness. It doesn't require a lot. It's pretty easy to repair. And there's a lot of really nice interiors. The interior of the ship has some very luxurious cabins for its crew. And there's a lot of space for its crew as well, with a lot of space for cargo, which includes an Ursa rover. So if you like exploration on the cheap, the Corsair, you can't go wrong with the Corsair itself. But as I always like to joke, it's also built to explore the inside of other people's cargo bays because it's got a lot of firepower. It has 3 size 3 guns, I think, on the front here. Let me double check the weaponry loadout. And it has 4 size 5 gimbals, so size 4s, 4 size 4s, 2 size 3s gimbaled. Let's see the 4 size 4s. So I think those are 3 of the. Oh, this is 4 size 4s right there. I think, yeah. And then you've got some other big weapons here in the back, plus 2-man turrets. This is the 2 size 3s, or two of the 2 size 3s over here on the side, but. Yeah, this thing's got a lot of firepower. It has a lot of DACA. So while it's designed to explore, it's also designed to defend itself, as a Drake person would say. And as a big fan of Drake, I always like to say my character, if I'm, I'll be honest, is from Magnus, from Berea. I gotta love the hometown boys. Gotta love the Drake. Thank you so much for watching Drake Interplanetary, our look at Drake Interplanetary. Let me know what you think. Do you think Drake is a good manufacturer? Do you think it's garbage? Do you think it's dangerous garbage that's still pretty good? Are you looking forward to any of those ships? What is your favorite Drake ship on the floor? Have you tried them all out yet? Let me know that and anything else in the comments below. Remember to like, hit the subscribe button, hit the little notification icon, turn on all notifications, and push to send notifications to you so that YouTube can tell you when these videos go up. Remember, we got merch, baby. And we've got a Patreon, patreon.com/Galactic Historian for if you want to help this out in the future as well. And as always, remember, ex Historia ad Astra.